Yes, sir.
You know his son's name?
Huh?
You know Aaron's son's name?
What is that?
Phinehas.
Phineas and Eleazar, right?
Yeah, that drove the stake through the couple when they was in the tent. And he stopped the plague. 23,000 people died that day.
So let me ask you this question.
You know what Phinehas mean in the black man? So
right.
if that's
you know
Aaron,
the people in the Bible are black, right?
I know that. If that's Aaron's grandson, what do that make Aaron?
Huh?
If that's Aaron's grandson, Phinehas, his name means black man in Hebrew. Period. Go to your strongest strong. Right? And I'm in agreement totally with what y'all teaching too. Go to your strongest strong Greek and look up Phinehas and simply say the black man.
So you understand that the people in the Bible are black.
I understand.
So what does that mean for us?
We're the original. We are the Israelites. We are the Israelites. We are the Israelites. Yes.
So what are the requirements of the Israelites?
What are the requirements?
The requirements.
Speak it, teach me.
Huh?
Speak it to me.
All right, go ahead, let's get it. Because we out here to teach our people, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, that they are the Israelites.
That's right.
Because we in a lower state. We in the ghettos of Toledo. Wherever city you go to, you'll find our people in the hood. On crack, on drugs, selling drugs.
You going to Deuteronomy?
We're on Deuteronomy.
Okay.
So
our people, 26
our people are always in as bad a state, but we're trying to show our people that everything's not good. That something's wrong. That's what we're trying to teach our people. But a lot of people, they get offended. They don't want to hear it because they're comfortable in the lower state they're in. They've been trained through slavery all the way to today that it's okay to hate your brother. It's okay to sell drugs. It's okay to sleep around with every woman, every man, but that's not okay.
No, it's not.
Every other nation, the white man, the Arab man, they understand that that's not okay.
That's right.
But for us, we fight for that. We want to do what we want to do. Right. But it's about the nation. As a nation, we're not together. That's why we're in this state. That's why we're messed up. Read what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12.
Read it!
And now Israel.
So Israel, the so-called blacks and Hispanics.
What does the Lord thy God require of thee?
So you so-called blacks and Hispanics, you are the Israelites. So God is telling you what is required. Contrary to what you learn in the church, there are requirements of being the chosen people. A lot of people say, oh, I'm a child of God. But they never know what's the requirement of a child of God. Right. If I have kids, I require certain things from them.
That's right.
God is saying the same thing.
That's
Go
right.
ahead.
But to fear the Lord thy God.
So we must fear God. As his people, we must fear God. So Darren, how do we fear God? Because that's one requirement. How do we fear God?
Reverential awe.
Give me Psalms 119, 120. So we got to learn how to properly fear God, because if we think that we believe in the God that man right there. Which one is it? The image of the beast. We believe in this right here. Our people, not you. Right. The people that understand don't believe in this, but majority of our people, they believe and they've been taught this image. Right. They've been taught the white image of Christ. Right. But if you read the Bible, it has no image that reflects what you see right here. Right. It says the Messiah is a black man.
That's right.
Right? Yeah. But we fear this man. We fear this man thinking that he's coming back for hugs and kisses, that he's all loving, that he loves everybody, that nothing's required. That's what comes with that. But this is what the fear of God is.
Psalms chapter 119, verse 120. My flesh trembleth for fear of thee.
So David said, my flesh trembles for the fear of God. Go ahead.
And I am afraid of thy judgment.
I'm afraid of what?
I am afraid of thy judgment.
So David said he's afraid of God's judgments. Right? So what type of judgments does God give? Deuteronomy 32, 39. Or 39, 32. What type of judgments does God give?
Speak it, I'm listening.
All right, let's get it. Because we have to understand that God does judge people. We see things happen in our neighborhoods. We see people get gunned down. We see people overdose, whatever it is. We see all these bad things happening, but we don't understand who's behind it. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me.
So we know this is talking about the Most High God. Go ahead.
I kill and I make alive.
God says he does what?
I kill and I make alive.
I thought God only gave hugs and kisses and blessings.
Right.
I kill and I make alive.
God said he kills and he makes alive. So those kids that die, those men that die, God kills and he makes alive.
I heal.
God gives cancer, God gives AIDS, God gives many different things, but he also heals. So it's a balance. God is a balanced God. Go ahead.
Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
So when God's judgment comes, there's no man that can speak against it and say, no, God, don't do that. Whatever he wants is going to happen. Now, Deuteronomy 10 and 12 again.
Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12.
Bring it up.
And now, Israel, what does the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
So all this stuff that he's saying you must do, he's going to wrap it up in it's just one sentence. Go ahead.
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
To do what?
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
How do I fear God?
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
How do I love God?
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
For all those that say they serve God, how do you serve God?
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
So the requirement of an Israelite or a so-called black and Hispanic is to keep God's commandments. That's required of us as Israelites. But a lot of times we're not taught the next step. A lot of times we're taught that we're Israel. We're taught who we are. We're taught that the Messiah is black. We're taught that God is black, that Moses is black. But we're never taught what to do next. Have you been taught that? So you understand?
I taught myself.
So, let's go to Acts. But you understand that we must keep the commandments, right?
Yeah.
So what commandments must we keep?
Let me ask you a question though, right? Now, when we're using fear here, I know we're in the Old Testament too. When we're using fear here, I got to understand the two different fears. I understand the fear and trembling, right? But then reverential awe, right? That's another derivative of fear from the Hebrew and the Greek. Reverential awe, to be in awe of him, that's another meaning of fear. From my understanding, going to the original language. So it's not just fear.
It's not the trembling fear. I understand what you're saying. It's a reference to respect, right? Because God is the God of heaven and earth, right? You must, right? Right? No, you're good. Because we understand that God's the the God of heaven and earth, right? So we understand that we must reverence and respect that because he created the earth, he can take me out of the earth. So that's when those two things come into play, right?
Yeah.
So now let's read this.
Acts chapter 8, verse 27. And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, a eunuch of great authority. Verse 30. And he said, How can I accept some... Acts chapter 8, verse 30. And Philip ran thither to him, and heard him read the prophet Isaiah, and said, Understandest thou what thou readest?
Right. We asked the brother, do you understand what you're reading? Go ahead.
And he said, How can I, except some man should guide me?
So our forefathers understood that there always needed to be a guide. Because a lot of our people, they say they learned on their own. But understand, when you learn on your own, you're still learning from somebody else. But God is letting you know that you have to be taught. I had to be taught. He had to be taught. Every brother up here has to be taught. Right. Even our leader has to be taught. You understand? So as men, we have to learn how to be humble enough to be taught by somebody. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be amongst people. You can't be by yourself. You understand?
I stopped right here to get taught.
No, that's good.
I don't know
that's
everything.
good.
I know some
things,
but I don't know everything. I stopped right here to get
That's good. All praise. That's good because we look for humble men that are willing to be taught and learn that what they're doing is not always right.
Right.
Because many of our people in our community are not doing what's right, and they're not willing to learn that they need to change.
Right.
Let's go to you know about the Sabbath day, right?
Yes, sir.
How do we keep the Sabbath?
We keep it holy, and it's on a Saturday. It's not Sunday.
Okay, so what else comes along with it?
Teach it.
Let's go to it. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 8.
Bring it
So
up.
there's much more to the Sabbath day than just, well, it's a way to keep it holy. It's a separate day. It's a special day, meaning on this special day there are special requirements. Let's read it.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
So you understand the 7th day is Saturday, right? So the Sabbath day does not fall on Sunday like they teach in church, but it falls on Saturday. Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Thus saith the Lord. Go ahead.
In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant.
So when it was instituted, that we were not able to do any manner of work. So like these brothers out here cleaning cars and things of that nature, according back then, you would not be able to do that. God said we do no work. Because remember, it's a day of rest. So on a Sabbath day, there is to be no work done. All right, let's go on.
In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger.
I'll go to 35 and 3.
Exodus 35:3, because now one requirement of the Sabbath is you cannot work on the Sabbath day. That's one requirement. Let's see what else we got.
Exodus chapter 35, verse 3.
Wake 'em up!
Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
So what does that mean?
Kindle no fire.
Yes, sir.
Cook.
Cook, right. So according to the Bible, we cannot cook on the Sabbath day.
Right.
But how do you, because some people say it's an issue, but how do you substitute for that?
Prepare the next day or you
Prepare,
fast.
the Bible gives you clear instructions. Let's go to it. Exodus 16.
Exodus chapter 16, verse 23.
Bring it up!
God is not going to give you something that you cannot properly perform.
Right.
So all people that say it's too hard, or I don't got to do that,
Right.
or it's too hard, it's too many commandments,
Right.
God would not give you things that are too hard to perform.
That's
He'll
right.
give you straight commandments. Go ahead.
And he said unto him, This is that which the Lord hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which you will bake today, and seed that you will seed, and that which remaineth overlay up for you to be kept unto the morning.
Right.
So he's basically saying, prepare everything you're going to prepare the night before, and you're good for the Sabbath. You
That's
understand?
right. That's right.
But our people, they make it hard. But
That's
that's one
right.
requirement. No cooking, but prepare the day ahead, right?
That's right.
Now let's get another one. Let's go to Nehemiah. Nehemiah, there's much more. Because our people say they keep the Sabbath in the churches,
Right.
but they don't understand because they're not taught.
That's
'Cause
right.
I'm not going to fault all my people for not understanding the commandments.
Right.
Because we have false pastors. We have people that don't have the understanding.
Right.
We have people that are not willing to be taught.
Right.
And that's what happens. You got it?
This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 10, verse 31.
Bring it out!
And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath. Or
So he said, if they bring anything, I will not buy it of them on the Sabbath day.
Right.
Because according to the law, we were not supposed to buy and sell on the Sabbath day.
That's right.
But if you go to Jude 5:20 real quick.
Bring
If
it
you
out.
look around, you notice that we always have car washes open on the Sabbath. We always
Right.
have deals on the Sabbath.
Right.
We always have every major entertainment is going to be going on the Sabbath day, right?
Right.
Why do they do that?
Do this. Do this.
What's up? So we'll break the Sabbath day because the other nations understand who we are. The only people that don't understand that the blacks and Hispanics and the Israelites are the blacks and Hispanics.
That's right.
Those are the only people that don't understand.
That's right.
So God
They're actually taking our power from us by...
They've been doing that for a long time. But God sent them to do that to us for a reason. And what is that reason He did that?
He sent them to us to do it for...
What's the reason that God sent these
Teach.
other nations to us?
Teach.
He sent them to us because we broke His commandments. The same thing we're breaking today, we broke thousands of years back.
Right.
And God said, because of that, I'm going to curse you until you get it right.
That's right.
Go ahead.
this is the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 20.
Wake 'em up!
Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God.
So this is two members of another nations, right? And they're trying to ask about this nation on the hill. Why have they not come down to serve me? That's what he's saying. Why have they not come down to serve me? And the guy is giving him a synopsis of the Israelites.
Right.
Read from the top.
Judith chapter 5, verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people,
So error meaning sin. If there be any sin in the Israelites,
and they sin against their God,
because other nations understood all the way back then that this was their God. The God of heaven and earth is their God, not everybody's. Go ahead.
let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
So the other nations understood as long as we stayed in sin against our God, then they could come and overtake us. Now look around at what's going on right now. Our people are in a multitude of sin. And if you notice, we're overtaken by every single nation.
Right.
Go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 48. We're overtaken by every nation. And if you notice, they dictate what we get. They dictate what gas stations we get, what car washes we get, what trash gets cleaned up and when it gets cleaned up.
Right.
They dictate how much our vacant homes get cleaned up.
Right.
They dictate all that. So they understand that as long as people are in sin, I can take away their heritage, I can take away their language, I can take away everything that belongs to them.
That's right.
And replace it with what I want. But God allowed it to happen because we broke His commandments.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Verse 48.
Bring it up!
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So God is speaking to the Israelites. One of the curses was we'd have to serve our enemies, right? Because we didn't listen to God. Correct?
Which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger.
So for food, who do I got to go to for my food?
Who do I have to go to?
Yes, sir.
I go to the damn grocery store.
You go to the grocery store. All right, that's cool. I go to the grocery store too. Now, who owns these grocery stores?
I got what you're saying.
You got what I'm saying?
Yep.
So understand, God says it's a curse. Because we don't understand that it's a curse for us to have to go to another nation for everything.
That's right.
If you look at other nations, they go back to their own country.
Right.
They go back to their own stores.
Right.
They got restaurants all throughout our neighborhoods.
That's right.
And then they got their own neighborhood within our cities.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Exactly.
Right here where we stand.
There's an Arab man in there.
That's right.
who's in there. We not in there. Go ahead.
And in thirst.
In thirst, when I need to pay my water bill, when I want to buy something to drink from this liquor store, when I want to get some alcohol, when I want to get some water, I got to go to my enemy. Now you know what's going on in Flint, Michigan, right? With the dirty water, right? The reason why if it was up to us, we would fix the problem. But because we're cursed and God put a curse on us, we have to depend on another nation to correct the problem.
Right.
But guess what they're not going to do? They're not going to correct it.
Right.
Because they hate us. They understand who we are. They don't want us to be great.
That's right.
They don't want us to prosper.
Right.
Go ahead.
And in nakedness.
And nakedness. When I get my shirt, do we own any clothing industries?
No.
No. We might have a name on it.
Right.
But when it comes to me going to get the silk,
Right.
the cotton,
Right.
the linen,
Right.
I got to go to another nation.
Right.
But our people have been so dumbed down, and it's not a shot at our people, but I was in the same position. We've been so dumbed down as a nation that we don't understand that these things are no good.
That's right.
What happens when these other nations want to separate from us? What do we have?
Right.
We have nothing.
Nothing.
Because we don't understand who we are. But once we come back to God's commandments, that's when we start to prosper.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are the Israelites. That's right. Take care of us. Take care of us. And our children too. And our children too. We have abandoned. We have repented. How about you? How about you? People want to know who's the king.
O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father. O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father.
Now why they trying to make it so hard to serve God? And why when I say that I'm a Jew it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sound wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.